it's Christine, and welcome to this month's Stash Bash where we are using stamps. Be sure to check out everyone's videos today for some fresh ideas on how to use your stamps. I am going to use mine to make a unique, funky, fresh background. And yes, I just said funky fresh. So I am using these background stamps. They're called the Bible background stamps from SRM Stickers, and I am just stamping all over the place. No measuring, no straight lines, just stamping. And I'm just using the black, so it's creating a really unique background. And then what you'll see is I did one layer, and now I'm going back and I'm adding on a second layer that will help unify the whole thing, help make it not look like, oh, that area has too much or that area has too little. Now I've done that, and now I'm going to finish creating my background by adding mist splatters all over the place. I am using several different brands for my mist. I am using Mr. Huey's from Studio Calico. I'm also using some Color Shine from Heidi Swap, and I'm using some Dilutions. And what I'm doing is adding in all the colors that I want to really pop out of this layout. So I've got a bright orange, I've got a royal blue, I'm going to add on a turquoise color, and also a golden yellow. And all of those coordinate both with my pictures as well as the little tiny amounts of patterned paper that I am going to add on in a little bit. Now my next step is going to be to add on my pictures. So this here is my base. This is my patterned paper for the day, if you will. And I have to let it dry, and then once it's ready to roll, I am going to go ahead and I add on those pictures, and I've matted those in a red, and then I am pulling in that blue and pulling in that golden yellow to anchor the pictures and be right in the center there. I used some Doodlebug papers for that part because they were monochromatic and neutral enough that they worked really well for the look I was going for. And what I am going to do is kind of tell a story on this layout of my son and his goofy smile. So he's at that age where he doesn't love to smile for the camera. He does humor me because he does like to see scrapbook layouts about himself, and he does humor me because he's just that kind of kid. But a lot of times when I say smile, he gets a really goofy look on his face. And so now I always say frown. And so on the right side there, you can see I told him to frown. And so that's his attempt at frowning, which always ends up making him smile real big. And then I get a good picture. So that is what the whole layout is actually about, that silly smile that he's got. And so you can see I've added on a title now that says That Smile, and that is just I just typed those up on my Silhouette Cameo software and just cut them out that way. I am going around now and just doing some outlining with my black Le Pen, and I'm doing that to just help make some separation between the background and the pictures. It adds a little bit of dimension without actually having to use foam adhesive and stuff like that. The next thing I am going to do is I am going to add on some patterned paper, which I didn't need a lot. I don't need a lot of anything on this layout because the background has a lot going on already. But I did ultimately decide that I wanted some of this striped paper from Photoplay Paper, both at the top and bottom. I played around with whether I wanted it to be straight or cut at an angle, and I decided really I kind of liked it at an angle. And so I went with the angle look, and I like it, kind of adds to that funky feel that's already going on. And so I felt like that was a good match. And then I'm just going to outline that with my black Le Pen. And then I'm going to move on to embellishing. I cut out a couple of big stars, and I'm using those to anchor both corners there. And then I'm just punched out some smaller stars in coordinating colors, and I'm using those as well. I'm adding the big stars with my Easy Runner Grand, and I'm adding the small stars on with just some micro adhesive dots. Now, I am going to do a giveaway today, and I want to talk about that before I run out of time here too much. Anyone who's a subscriber and leaves me a comment today on this video before we're going to leave it open, let's see, through the 27th. So anyone who leaves a comment by the 27th will be up for a $10 gift card to scrapbook.com. Just leave me a comment, make sure you're a subscriber, and you will be entered into it. And then make sure you check back next week, because I always comment below who won and right under there, so you should see it in your notifications if you were the winner. So make sure you check back for that, because I would hate for anyone to miss on that opportunity. The last thing I'm adding on today is some wood veneer pieces. I added on love, so that my layout now says love that smile. And then I'm adding on some stars too, some really old stars from Cosmo Cricket. So that is it for today. Thank you so much for being here. Be sure to hop to the next person on the list. I will have her linked up in the top left-hand corner, and we will see you tomorrow. I am starting a brand new video series on back to school layouts, so be sure to check back in tomorrow for the whole week, because there will be tons of inspiration.